Thank you for listening to Shulchanaruchharav.com.
In today's daily halacha subject, we will discuss the significance of the days of the week of Mondays and Wednesdays from a halachic perspective. So there's an interesting, what some or many would consider a myth, or a folklore or superstition that many Jews have, in which we don't start doing new activities on Mondays and Wednesdays. Some of you may have never heard of this before, and that is fine. But many are accustomed to avoid doing many things. For example, in the community of Bells, they do not get married on Wednesdays and Mondays. They do not get engaged on Mondays and Wednesdays. They do not even start the yearly learning session on a Monday or Wednesday, and they push it off. Is there a source for such a thing? Where does it come from? What are its reasons? What is the Chabad Hanhaga, the Chabad custom in this regard? Do we completely ignore it? Do we accept it? And to what does it extend to? So this custom is actually sourced in the Mechaber, chapter 179, Halacha Beis, the second halacha in chapter 179 in Yeridei. The Mechaber writes, Nohagu she'ein matchilim bebeizu bedalet. It is a custom not to begin. He doesn't say what. He just says not to begin on Mondays and Wednesdays. The source of the Mechaber is from the Ramban. The Ramban has a responsa Yitshuva in Siman Reish Pei Beis 282, in which he writes that those that are accustomed not to begin on Mondays and Wednesdays, and he goes on to explain the background behind it. The source of the Ramban is from the Zohar. So we see that a custom written in the Zohar, brought down by the Ramban, has been finalized in halacha by the Mechaber and Shulchanaruch. So those that follow this are certainly not following a superstition, they are following a halacha. What is the reason behind this idea of not starting a melacha, a new activity on Mondays and Wednesdays? So for this we have to turn to the tshuva of the Ramban, as the Mechaber does not write any information. And the Ramban writes that the reason is because every single day of the week has a mazel, has a constellation that shines. And the mazel, the constellation of Mondays and Wednesdays, are not positive for a person's future success. Why? The mazel of Monday is the mazel of the levana of the moon. And the Gemara in Shabbos, Daf Kuf Nun Vav Amud Aleph, states that just like the moon becomes smaller and enlarges throughout the month, so to a malacha that is begun on a Monday represents, God forbid, that the malacha will not end in success. It will constantly become retracted, meaning smaller, and then grow bigger, meaning it won't have long life term. However, regarding Wednesday, it's not the mazel levana, but the mazel of what's called Shabsai Koichat, a certain star, which is also not a good mazel for that day. That's what is written in the Tshuva of the Ramban, and this is all based on a statement in the Pirkei, the Rebbe Eliezer, Perek Vav, that says that the mazel of each day rules on that day. So that is the reason behind why the Mechaber rules, and the Ramban brings that we are noihig, that we are accustomed not to start malach. The question is, to what does this apply? Begin. What does it mean, begin? So obviously it doesn't mean for a person that's beginning to drink or beginning to eat. It refers to things that are more major in a person's life, such as like a person that's beginning a new job, a person that's beginning a new course, a person that's getting married, etc., etc. All those big life events that a person does would be included in this concept of beginning, and it doesn't refer to small little things. However, we have a tshuva brought in the Dakei Tshuva of the Ruach Chaim that states that in truth all matters that contain a mitzvah do not have to be worried about and can be started on Mondays and Wednesdays without any worries. Thus he rules that to get married is mutter on Mondays and Wednesdays. That is the custom of the world, that we get married on Mondays and Wednesdays. This is besides for the Bells community, as far as we know, that they are stringent even regarding matters of a mitzvah. But in general, the world is a custom, and no one has ever heard of not marrying on a Monday or a Wednesday, because it's the need of a mitzvah. Another major issue that comes up regarding Mondays and Wednesdays is moving. Is a person allowed to move on a Monday and Wednesday? Due to Shabbos and Friday, most people are left with, in any event, 5 days out of the week to move. Now, if we knock off Monday and Wednesday for moving, because you're starting a major new change in your life, then we're left with only 3 days a week: Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. So what is the direction that one should take regarding moving on Mondays and Wednesdays? So it's brought down in Paiskin, in Achreinim, and it's brought down in the Darkei Tshuva that a person should avoid moving on Mondays and Wednesdays as well. And believe it or not, but the Rebbe has a letter that he wrote to someone, and it's printed in Igros Kodesh, Chelik Tesvav, Amud Shin, Tzadik, 390, page 390, also brought in Shulchanarachharav, volume 6, that a person asks what day of the week he should move, and the Rebbe answers him that it's best to move on a Tuesday, as that is the day that God blessed Tuesday with the blessing of Hitoiv twice. If it's not possible, he can move on another day, except for Mondays and Wednesdays. Those are the Rebbe's words, except for Mondays and Wednesdays, of course basing it on this halach of the Mechaber. So going back to what we originally started, what is the Chabad custom regarding Mondays and Wednesdays? It is clear from this letter of the Rebbe, at least to this individual, that there is an idea of being stringent not to move on Mondays and Wednesdays, even according to Chabad custom. Whether this is a Chabad custom for everyone, I can't say, because at times letters were written to specific individuals based on their standards. And therefore, we cannot make a general rule for everyone. But the Rebbe definitely did accept this ruling as binding. What happens if someone wants to be machmer like this letter of the Rebbe, which most Chassidim would like to do, but they have no choice. They have to get out of the apartment. They have to move on a Monday and Wednesday. So for this, there's an eitzah, there's an advice given in Paiskin, brought also in the Darkei Tshuva, that you have two alternatives. Either to move items into the home the day before, and therefore it's as if you already moved on Sunday, or on a Thursday, whenever it was that you entered the apartment before the actual move of the furniture, etc. Another option is to bring Sifrei Kodesh, bring Sfarim and other items of a mitzvah into the home on that day, and to try to have a Chassidic gathering in the apartment or house on that day, and that ends up being for the sake of a mitzvah, and as we already spoke, that for the sake of a mitzvah it is mutter. Practically, this halacha, this custom, which is again a halacha based on custom, is no longer widespread today. A lot of people have never even heard of it. And those that are lenient can continue to be lenient. However, again, as we explained, that the Rebbe's opinion in the letter was to be stringent regarding Mondays and Wednesdays.